A very good evening to the speakers and all the participants present here. We are gathered here for the workshop named SkillUp to Become Reading Kryptonites. The act of reading is a complex and a multi-dimensional process. It is a heart-to-heart interaction to the reader with the text to understand what he has read. In the process, the readers conduct meaning from different texts based on their background, knowledge, experiences, connections to text, establish skills, strategies, and ability to comprehend and decode the vocabulary of apt meaning. So this workshop will focus on the importance and benefits of reading, inculcating the habit of reading in everyday life to derive fun in reading. It was also discussed of upgrading reading skills with mini lessons and exciting activities which will foster a great love of reading. We have two most fluent orators present here, Professor Dr. Yulia Shamaeva, who is a PhD, the head of Department of English Language, School of Foreign Languages, Vasyl Karazin, Kharkiv, National University, Kharkiv, Ukraine, Associate Professor, majors in Linguistics, Cognitive Linguistics, Literature Studies, TESL, TEFL, English, French, Interpreting and Translating. Welcome, ma'am. We have another professor here present, Professor Anna Karwowska, a professor and a translator, LINC, ESL, Nicholas Copernicus University. Anna Karwowska, ma'am, is a grad student at the University of Windsor and Languages Online School owner, helping neurodiverse students to get unstuck with the English using cognitive science. Welcome, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Professor Anna, welcome. If you need any help for presentation, to be there on the screen, there is a student coordinator here who will help you.
No worries, I can.
Anna and Professor Louis. Hello,
Okay.
am I audible?
I can share my presentation, so no worries. Whenever ready, whenever needed, I'll just share it. Thank you.
Okay, so you have the share rights, right? Both the speakers have the sharing rights. Am I opposed?
Give me a second.
Yes, ma'am, they have
Help the speakers in case they need, sharing rights.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, I will just present it right now. Sorry. So I just need to make it smaller for a second. Okay. So today I'll talk about more practical side of the language and reading. This is my presentation. So I'm just trying to present it to everyone. Okay. So should I present right now?
Yeah, it's correct. It's there on the screen. It's there on the screen.
Yes. So my presentation is very short. It's called Into the Journey of Words, as words are very important when it comes to the reading process. So I wanted to share some activity and some helpful tips that can be very beneficial when we are dealing with reading academic texts, especially for students who are ESL. So what I'm presenting here is a matrix that we use when we do structured word inquiry. As you can see, we have the root, which is a struct built, which comes from Latin, and we have prefixes and suffixes. And I will explain in a second why we do that. So structured word inquiry, it investigates how words are connected through the origin, structures, and parts. Students can explore the history, which is etymology, and the spelling of the words. It focuses on understanding patterns shared among many groups, because many languages, they come from the same root, which is Indo-European languages. Of course, not all, but now we focus on English. So they have shared roots, right? And they have shared families. So why we do that with academic reading? We do it because it boosts linguistic awareness. It saves time during high-stake exams. If students are preparing for IELTS, CPE, or TOEFL, they have to read pretty fast. And very often the texts are very specialized. So if they get stuck on a certain word, they cannot progress further. That being said, having the knowledge of structured word inquiry, especially Greek and Latin roots, suffixes, and prefixes, really speeds the process. And as I said, it yields high results in reading and writing. So in ESL classroom, if we have reading in ESL classroom, we can read a story, we can read a short story, we can read an authentic text or adapted text. We often start with what the word means, examine the word structure, examine the history and etymology, make connections and represent findings, because we want the students to be aware of the linguistic patterns that are in the language, because it's very, very beneficial when they read, so that the student can avoid the very destructive process, which is guessing, because it's very hard to approach, especially in higher levels, like when we talk in the Common European Language Framework, we talk about C1 and C2. Very often students tend to guess the meaning of the word, and they fail, and then let's say the fossilization takes place, so they remember the meaning that is not correct, and it just stays on. So now I just wanted to focus very shortly and briefly on Greek and Latin words. So the vast majority of English language is derived from Greek and Latin. It's more or less 75%. Of course, there are other words that came to English through Germanic languages, right? Words that came through Norman languages, French, sometimes were traveled from Latin to French and then to English, right? However, when we talk about academic reading, the majority of words and vocabulary will be from Greek and Latin. And that is why structured weight inquiry, especially Greek and Latin words, are so important to be pre-taught for students before they start reading complex and specialized texts, because very often students struggle when they, for example, they start studying psychology, right? They have to read a text and they stumble upon words and they do not understand them. And I'm especially talking about Western perspective, where Greek and Latin words and grammar and such is not taught as explicitly as in other countries. So I'm just showing like an example. When we have the root, which is andro, comes from Greek, means man, male. And then we have androgynous, which is both male and female. So we have andro, it's from Greek, means male. Gyno means female, and it's a suffix. And then we have as, having the quality, it again comes from Greek. So then we have android, misandry, androcentric, androgen. So having one root, we have so many words that came to English. And if student knows at least the root, then it's so much easier for the student to deduct the meaning of the word. And as I said before, during the high-stake exams, it's very crucial. Then we have another word. I'll choose the word that came from Latin, cline, lean. So we have inclination, incline, recline, syncline, and anticline. This particular one is very helpful, especially if we learn geography. So I know that the panel is about reading. However, we cannot dissect reading from the linguistic part, which is from the lexicon. Students need to have a huge repository to be able to read, and deduct the meaning of the word, because during the lifetime, especially if they're going to academia, they will be reading lots of complex text, and they cannot stop and ponder the meaning of words, because they will not have time for that. Let's be honest, right? You have to read a lot, and very often, not only a lot, but text will be very, very complex. And just to sum up my short presentation, as I said, it will be very short. I have an exercise. So we have in the word that is called decimation, right? The word came from Latin to English. Fortunately, it didn't come from French, so it's easier to deduct the meaning. So the exercise is to check the Etymo online, which is online etymology dictionary, and check the meaning. And just think about why I posted that picture and what does decimation mean, and where does the origin of the word derives from. So what does it mean, decimation? We can think about mathematics, but not only, also look at the picture and think about ancient Rome. So that's about it. As I said, my presentation will be really short. Thank you.
Mehfooz, if Ayushi is not there, you should take up.
Yes.
It should not be a silent mode in between. What is the sequence? Now Professor Shemeva is going to take it, or
Yes, ma'am.
it is audience question? What is it? So please go ahead, huh? Invite madam then.
I would like to invite Dr. Professor Yulia Sharma Eva, ma'am, to come up and speak and present the presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Since I was given a little bit different timing, I'm trying to make it longer. And again, can I share my screen with you? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm doing my best for doing that, right? Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Dear colleagues, dear friends, dear students, I'm honored and delighted to be with you today at this wonderful global event, MIT International Literature Festival. I can just imagine how much effort, how much energy, because my university also had the experience. That's tremendous work. So that's why I'm really happy to be part of it. And I'm happy to represent Karazin Kharkiv National University, Kharkiv, Ukraine, in our common cause of promoting literature research, art of reading and writing in the 21st century. I'm sorry for not being able to be part of jury because of unsafe situation, real shelling, and I'm happy and keeping fingers crossed for the electricity to keep on, Well, today at our workshop, Skill Up to Become Reading Kryptonites, together, we're going to concentrate on the importance of reading as an everyday habit, as natural as breathing, eating, drinking, to make us more sustainable, stronger, smarter, and happier. Well, there are so many benefits to reading books. But let's face it, it can be challenging to motivate ourselves to read a big book or an extensive scientific paper when we can just listen to audiobooks or watch a YouTube video summary instead. However, if most of our daily reading consists of social media posts, text messages, news headlines, we are definitely missing something out. So let's think together. What are the benefits of reading? Before moving on, if possible, could you please share some opinions about that? Maybe a couple of words, maybe an idea. So what benefit of reading do you see for yourself? And then everybody is welcome to participate, to share, because at least a couple of ideas, like a couple of insights, maybe. So what can our personal benefits of reading be individually? Like just say what comes to your mind. Can you unmute yourself, please? Okay.
Yeah. So reading increases our knowledge. That's the main point I see in reading. It increases fluency to speak.
Right. It's enrichment, like intellectual enrichment, and then communicative skills are developed. Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Ayesha, what do you think? Maybe somebody else would like to share your experience, because it's something that we do regularly. So it's just what comes to your mind. The first association, like reading for me, is like what is good about it. All right. So at least maybe Ayesha has some idea, because like students as teachers, we read 24/7. So that's why, what is so positive about reading for us? Like personally, or maybe on a global scale.
You can go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Kish.
So according to me, in our daily life, there are so many benefits of reading. Like, my personal favorite are reading autobiographies and biographies. Because according to me, when I am reading autobiographies or biography, it helps me to connect with the real world more. And it helps me to know that what are instances, for example, like if I talk about Malala, so what are instances have happened with her and what are instances could happen in the near future. So, you get to know this thing from reading, that how all you can improve yourself and what all has happened in the past. So you are, in return, you are only improving yourself, what I feel.
That's like you grow in together with, the more you read, the more you grow. That's
correct.
True. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Is about reading, about benefits for us. Well, all right. So to sum it up, if you have come up with some idea, you're welcome to interrupt and share anytime. And meanwhile, we are proceeding. Okay. Yeah. So to sum it up, we read. Yeah. I've been just curious. Yeah. How many associations like we have in similar, and it turns out that a lot. Yeah. So as it has been mentioned, we gain knowledge, right? Then we exercise our brain, we improve our concentration, yeah, because like the more you read, it's like muscles, yeah, the better you are at it, yeah. Then our memory is improved. It is fun, as it has been written in the description of the section, yeah. Then we improve our ability to feel. Is like Kushi has said, you grow, yeah, you go from past, you go to future, you feel more, right? And you improve your communication skills. There is one more thing. Because of reading, we can become healthier, we can live longer and happy. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper to better understand and feel the advantages of reading. Yeah, like speaking about gaining knowledge. One of the most obvious benefits of reading every day, as we can experience, and we have been doing that regularly, is learning. And unlike a YouTube video or podcast, which are also beneficial in a way, books provide access to an in-depth, profound knowledge. In other words, if we want to become more productive, or to stop procrastination, which is a big issue for many of us, which do you think you will learn more from? Like a book by someone who has studied productivity and researched productivity for many, many years, like Stephen Covey or Timothy Ferriss or Chris Bailey and many other scientists and practical leaders, or just a couple of minutes YouTube video by someone who has just scratched this topic. Which do you think you will absorb more from? Which do you think is more likely to help change our habits? I guess, and like experience of life shows that books are more efficient in this respect. Going beyond the surface of a subject is essential to success too. This is probably why the author, Roald Dahl, one of my favorites, once said, if you're going to get anywhere in life, you have to read a lot of books, Some Chinese scientists said that, your books are your bricks on the path of life. Like that's stepping stones that help us to grow, to develop, exactly. Plus, you can learn literally anything from books. For example, whenever anybody asks Elon Musk how he learned to build rockets, he simply says, I read books. He says that in his every interview. So what do you want to learn? Whatever it is, reading is the basis. Reading can really help. Then, why else is reading important? As the 17th century English writer Joseph Addison once wrote, reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So what does reading exactly do to our brain? In our chat, there was a question. So from someone about falling asleep while reading. And if this workshop can be helpful in a way, probably it can be a little bit of motivation for continuing reading, like for overcoming the sleeping reading habit. So research has confirmed that reading stimulates a complex network of circuits and signals in our brain. Plus, as you improve your reading ability, these networks become stronger, more flexible, more sophisticated. In another study, researchers measured how reading a novel or a long story affects our brains. Reading, not listening, not watching. Because there have been comparative studies as well. The study's participants read the novel Pompeii by Robert Harris, and as tension in the story developed, more areas of the brain were activated. And do you want to know the best part? The scans showed that brain connectivity increased while reading and for more than 10 days after, demonstrating the enormous benefits of reading books every day. Every day, that's keyword for us, Okay. Then another thing, like the bottom line of all this, our brains have the so-called use it or lose it policy, just like our muscles that it has been mentioned. In other words, if we don't exercise our minds regularly, our cognitive abilities might decline. However, when we read every day, we can keep them strong and healthier. That's to the question of healthier lifestyle, with reading. Besides, reading improves our focus. Focus and concentration also belong to the so-called cognitive abilities, of a human being. Being able to concentrate for long periods while reading is essential to our success and well-being. Cal Newport, the author of Deep Work, writes, that's his fundamental work, Deep Work. He writes, to remain valuable in our life, you must master the art of quickly learning complicated things. The task requires deep work. What do you think he means when he says or uses this term deep work in connection with what we have been discussing? I see only one face. Would you please help? Like, what do you think is meant by deep work in his vision?
I shall try.
So, sorry, it just, the sound comes a bit like with a delay. Unmute yourself, please.
Ma'am, what was your question again?
Yeah, like he says that to quickly learn how to deal with complicated things requires deep work. What do you think he can mean with this deep work in connection with reading?
More efforts to learn, more hard work.
Like more efforts,
Yeah, like more efforts and no distraction should be there. We should be more concentrated on what we are doing.
Yeah, probably that. That's like one part of it. Yeah, that's also there. Yeah. So deep work, in this understanding. He explains, and this explanation is on the slide. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. It's a skill, and reading is exactly this skill that allows you to quickly master complicated information in a nutshell and produce better results in less time. Deep work, that's work of our neurons, will make you better at what you do and provide sense, which is important, of true fulfillment that comes from craftsmanship. As you know, both in studies and in working in general, it is the key factor to feel that what you do is really needed. Because there are lots of things that you do automatically or without thinking like, what's the purpose of all this? As soon as you feel and focus on the necessity of what is happening, then it is already craftsmanship. And this is where reading comes to help. Newport also argues that the skill of reading is becoming increasingly rare, just like the skill of concentration. Due to constant multitasking, notifications that just pop up, social media apps. And there was another study by Microsoft. And according to the study, people generally lose attention after just 8 seconds if they do not practice focusing. In connection with the subject of our workshop, we can make a point that thankfully, one of the key benefits of reading is that it helps us practice concentrating on just one thing at a time. One thing at a time. It's like another aspect we can practice that is playing a musical instrument. But reading is better in terms of it gives us the gift, or let's say the blessing of silence. If you read in silence, it's double, even, hundreds times more beneficial than when some noise disturbs you. For example, a novel requires all of our attention for us to take us away to another world. And if we want to learn from a nonfiction, scientific, or academic book, it again requires us to be fully present and engaged. In short, if we want to succeed, we need to focus. And if we want to focus more, yeah, guess what? We have to practice by reading books. We are moving ahead, speaking about still more positive effects of reading on our cognitive potential. Experience proves that reading improves our memory. Well, just imagine, are such situations familiar to you? Especially nowadays when you're forgetting things and you have a bunch of to-do lists and not to forget lists. Yeah, but anyway, you can't remember what's on them. Yeah. And here comes good news. One of the advantages of reading books is that it can improve our memory. When we read a nonfiction book, a textbook, or some academic paper, we also consume an enormous amount of data on the subject you are reading about. Similarly, when we are lucky to indulge ourselves with a novel, we have to remember tons of information about the story's plot, subplot lines, characters, their relationships, environment in which the story takes place. And that's, again, a lot of information. All of this new information creates new memories. And every new memories, create links, synapses, and strengthens old ones. The upshot, reading every day can improve our memory, and it can help us learn, be better students, be better professionals, to store more new information and to recall more information effectively. Now that we know that reading can improve both short-term memory and long-term memory, let's look at how we can ensure that we improve our memory as much as possible. And we can do that by selecting the right kind of books. This is another level of freedom that we have, To improve our memory, according to experts, and again, life has proven, you should read books with large sets of active characters. Just as a, let's say, machine for exercising, by having to recall names, details across the book story, we unconsciously start practicing short-term recall. And after each chapter, writing a short summary will help improve long-term recall as well. Actually, I had this idea to have a bit of reading and then to write a short like summary after that. But again, we can put it for a more advanced future and just make it a routine. Again, we all are very short of time. Just a couple or 3 sentences after, again, reading at least 10 pages to make notes, to make a mental note, really help. Well, next present from reading is that reading is enjoyable entertainment. Books provide some of the most engaging entertainment on the planet. As the author Stephen King said, books are uniquely portable magic. And Ray Bradbury also said that to ruin culture, you do not need to burn books. You just have to get people to stop reading. So that's why it is enjoyment and pleasure that is culturally important. That is our cultural heritage. So have you ever read a book that you couldn't put down? Can you think of any latest book or the author, or maybe a piece of it? Maybe you are reading it now, so something that really engages you.
Ma'am, for me.
The book that you are reading,
The book that I am reading. So.
Or maybe something that was unputdownable for you.
So right now I am preparing a research paper since I am studying for.
It is unputdownable, I agree.
So since I'm studying forensic science, I am writing a research paper on blunt force injuries to the cranium. So I am reading several old research papers on this topic right now. And it's very interesting.
So they are really, so if you focus, like you read several, but you have one focus for all of them,
No, we read several research papers written by different people and we combine it to one. So that I can write a report on my own. So
Right.
I gather information from every paper, different information.
Yeah, so you have lots of notes, I guess. This thing, right? The summary is very actual.
Yeah.
The peak, I see. Okay, does anybody else want to share the book that is unputdownable? Okay, I believe that everybody has such a book. Well, and if you remember feeling immersed in the story, yeah, or really immersed in what you study and what you read about, yeah, you can replicate that feeling or experience it for the first time if it was not strong enough. And all you need is just to find the right kind of book. And that's real magic. Like when you choose a book, you never know what exactly sparkles your interest, right? So you just you look at the cover, or you look at the title. Yeah, and it's like love at first sight. Yeah, it's something that you cannot even explain. You feel like, yeah, that's the book I need, or this is the material that exactly, yeah, I've been looking for. So there are millions of incredible books and sources out there, and there is a perfect reading genre for each of us. Yeah, from fantasy novels, classical literature, self-help guides, scientific books, plus with everything that is happening in the world nowadays, yeah, which is, I mean, the world which is still suffering from pandemics, wars, there is no better time to take up reading as a hobby, as reading is something you can enjoy safely, and safety really matters nowadays, yeah, in our time. What we had to do just to step away from our smartphones, yeah, just make this effort, yeah, put them down, open the book and dive in. Well, another vitally important benefit of reading is that it improves our ability to empathize with others. And empathy itself, yeah, like our human ability to feel what others feel, has many benefits. On the one hand, it can reduce stress, it improves our relationships, and it informs our moral compasses. Yeah, we get oriented in terms of spiritual life, in terms of moral values. How? That's a very, like, say, personal or individual question, but research has shown that long-term fiction readers tend to develop a better so-called theory of mind. It is the term used to describe our capacity for empathy and ability to understand others better. Other studies found that when we read stories that explore characters' inner selves, inner lives, and emotions, our ability to understand others' feelings and views also improves. For example, like experienced in the world through the eyes of, I don't know, Harry Potter. I'm just Harry Potter fan because my son has been reading a lot of it, and or Jane Eyre, or many, I mean, millions other books. It all can help us learn to see the world from the perspective of other cultures, our friends, understand our relatives, close people better, and, which is really important, getting a better understanding of our own selves. Besides, when we read, it's my personal observation, probably you will agree, when you read, this is this luxury of being on your own. I mean, like, you can devote time to yourself. Yeah, you focus on what you feel, on how your, thinking is going on. Yeah. And in this connection, the author John Green said, great books help you understand and they help you feel understood, because nobody argues there. Yeah, you're in full harmony, hopefully. Yeah, while reading, you're in full harmony with yourself, with your inner voices. On top of that, reading helps us improve our communication skills. And that's what we have pointed out here previously. I guess you will agree that ability to communicate effectively is a truly vital life skill, especially in our challenging times. Yeah. In fact, according to the present day statistics, 82% of employers globally are looking to hire people with soft skills, such as effective communication skills. And the good news again, one of the key benefits of reading is that it helps us to communicate better. You can wonder why or how. Reading every day, again, every day, that's a key word, key phrase, can improve our communication skills in a few ways. For example, reading can influence our writing. I mean, they're absolutely interconnected, like, content and shape. Yeah, if you read more, you write better. And well, that's a circle. It can make our writing or our, let's put it this way, not even writing, verbal and non-written expression more advanced, more critical or creative. And you get more freedom if you read a lot. It increases also our grammar, our syntax flexibility. We can play with words. So again, you can open new dimensions of your own creative self. So when we read well-written works, it doesn't matter fiction or nonfiction, we naturally observe their written style. Like, for example, when you read an article or a scientific paper, say, okay, I would like to use this phrase, or I like the structure, I mean, the layout, how it is presented. And then the more, let's say, your bank of reading experience grows, and you become richer in terms of choice of means of expressing your ideas. So we observe this writing style, we observe cadence, composition, and these characteristics inevitably get into our own writing, reading, and thinking style. It's just in the same way like musicians are influenced by each other, Or when you work or study together with someone like your group mates or your colleagues, there is a point in time when you feel like, hey, he's saying what I've been just thinking, and that's the best thing in collaboration. So what's more, studies show that those who read regularly tend to develop definitely larger vocabularies, Finally, let's remember that reading also helps improve our communication skills by enhancing our ability to feel and understand other people from different cultures. Because it is great to read in the original. So the more languages you know, the better. But again, even if we read a work translated, anyway, we get these insights, we feel different cultural vibes, which again, helps us grow, as it has been mentioned here. So making this long story short, read more, communicate better, improve our life, So yet another beneficial effect of reading is that it can reduce stress. Research has proven that just 30 minutes of reading, not something that you have to read, but something that you want or would like to read, can lower your blood pressure, heart rate, and feelings of psychological distress. I'm saying it should be literature of your choice, because only in this case, your well-being and health get better, because we have to read many things that we are supposed to read, So and it does not, it influences our blood pressure, but in a different way, I guess. Well, then it has also been discovered that reading is the best way to reduce stress compared to taking a walk or having a cup of tea or coffee, playing games. The study found that even 6 minutes of reading can be enough to reduce stress levels by more than 2/3. On the basis of my own experience, I can tell you that really under this war circumstances, reading keeps you sane. It truly relieves psychological pain, stress, and it is actual for people of different ages. For that matter, the cognitive neuropsychologist who conducted this study, Dr. David Lewis, says, losing yourself in a book is the ultimate relaxation and the best coping strategy. So the next time you're feeling stressed, let's remember the benefits of reading for pleasure and let our tension melt away. At the same time, the pros of reading books also extend to mental health, not only psychological, but mental health as well. Researchers studied the effects of self-help books alongside with books that we like fiction or some literature that we love reading. Self-help books have the right to exist in our life. And scientists found that many have a measurable impact on depression or anxiety or other mood disorders. As a result, the United Kingdom National Health Service, for example, began a book prescription program called Reading Well. This service prescribes special books curated by medical experts, just like they have prescriptions and books are in them, for certain health conditions. This act of using books as therapy is called bibliotherapy, like medicine for the soul, for the heart. In this connection, there is a question. Has it ever happened in your life that a book helped you or maybe someone you know to handle a hard situation or maybe some emotional, stressful span in life? Yeah, not, it could be different kind of, and any book. Maybe you have heard or had such experience. For me, that was Gone with the Wind. Yeah, at a certain period in my life. Yeah. Okay, and again, I'm not speaking about scientific papers, though, sometimes when you are depressed, the best thing to find, some kind of solution, or like way out is to get as deep as possible into studies or work or doing something.
Yeah, exactly. So that we divert our mind and we don't think about that. Reading or working on something is the best way to divert your mind from stress and everything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like you get into a total different dimension. Yeah, you switch modes. And
yes, exactly.
It is really helpful. So reading, healing strategy. Yeah, and now this last but not least effect of reading we are revealing today is that, just a moment. Yeah, here we go. That reading makes our life longer. And it really benefits in terms of keeping us in good shape, in terms of keeping our emotional, cognitive, mental, psychological health better. And a 12-year study on health and retirement found that those who read books live around 2 years longer than those who don't read books or just read some other forms of media. Additionally, those who read for 30 minutes a day, and that's 3.5 hours per week approximately, were 23% more likely to outlive those who didn't read often. And actually, when, at a certain period in life, you do not think much about, okay, whether I would live 2 or 5 years longer. But again, it is all investment. So reading can be regarded as investment into our longer life, which is, a big benefit. It's impressive. And as noted above, reading is a great way to exercise our brains, to make us smarter, sharper. And the knock-on effect of this is that reading also helps prevent age-related cognitive decline. No wonder the United States National Institute on Aging recommends the health benefits of reading daily. So that's why this everyday thing has come up, because it is really beneficial. All in all, so when you read every day, you're more likely to retain your mental abilities and live longer. And actually, my tip for upgrading reading skills, first of all, to remember all the positive aspects, all the presents that reading as a big gift, a big blessing gives us. Yeah. Then to enhance this process, a good idea is to start writing like step by step, even for yourself. Yeah, the more you write, again, you broaden your limits. And another idea is to read multimodally. So we can read trying to visualize, hear, smell. We have to, if you switch on all the perception channels that we have, our reading can become more engaging and more immersive. And as not a homework, but actually an idea for our future cooperation, I do hope that we will cooperate in the future, both with students of my university, with me personally. If I can be helpful in any way in terms of your research, I'm also, and always, like you, I'll leave my, Vinaya has my, and the organizer of the conference have all my emails, like telephone numbers. A good idea would be to make this reading or literature project together, like internationally, and all the ideas are welcome. Now with all these technical things that we have, all these technical possibilities and opportunities, it is just a wonderful chance to make an integrative reading project with, it is not now only for literature or linguistics majors. It can be for PhD, for students of all majors. And the more diverse majors are, the more interesting and long-term project it might be. So all the ideas are welcome. You please, that's good food for thought. I'm very grateful for your participation, for listening to me. And again, peace and good books for everybody.
Indeed, ma'am. Reading skills are essentially required to boost one habit in developing interest and in extracting pleasure in the literary work. You are so correct. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. And I really hope that the participants are in great enthusiasm to read books and make it a habit.
Let's keep in faith. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.